Guys, so today I'm going to show you an extremely powerful beginner card trick, and this is what it looks like. So if I had a spectator, I would give them the entire deck to shuffle, just like this, and I'll just quickly show you here that this is a genuinely shuffled deck of cards. All the cards are mixed up. And before we actually begin, I am going to make a bit of a prediction of the future. So if you notice, I do have this little pad here, which I'm going to quickly draw something on, but I will not show you until the end of the trick. So, okay, that's my prediction. I'm gonna leave it face down for now, but we'll get back to it at the end, okay? So here's what's gonna happen. You just shuffled this deck as much as you wanted. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna deal through the cards one at a time, just like this, so you can see all the cards completely random order. But whenever you'd like, you're gonna call out stop, okay? Now, just please do me a favor, because I know how this works, and I know some of the people like to wait until the very end of the deck, and trust me, I'm a magician. I know what the bottom cards are. That's not going to be very impressive. And also, don't stop me at like the first card, like the 4 of clubs or the Queen of hearts. You know, try to stop me at least somewhere a little bit more in the middle, just because that will be way more impressive to both of us if, you know, we don't know where you're going to stop. So just, here we go. We're going to start, okay? I'm going to deal through one at a time. And whenever the spectator wants, they can go ahead and tell me when to stop. Let's say they stop right here, and I tell them, do you want to stop here? Are you sure? Or do you want to go one more? And they say, yeah, one more actually. Okay, so now they're going to stop right here. Remember, you shuffled the deck. You could have stopped at genuinely any of these cards, but no, you said stop right here at this card. Now, I actually don't want to touch my prediction at all. I would let the spectator take the prediction themselves and flip it over. You guys can see here, it says the Queen of Diamonds. I hope you guys can read that. Q Diamond. So I don't know if you've been paying attention, but if I spread through these cards here, I don't believe we have passed the Queen of Diamonds quite yet. But you did stop at this particular face down card, which I'll put right over here. And you guys can see if you had gone one more or two more, it would have been these cards, but no, you went for this one right here. And I don't know why, but I just had a really strong feeling that for some reason, I knew ahead of time that you would stop at the Queen of Diamonds. And that right there is the trick. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So believe it or not, this is actually one of the first ever card tricks that I learned, and it's so incredibly easy. And the fact that it can fool people so hard is just so awesome. All you're gonna need for this is a completely normal deck of cards. You could borrow a deck of cards for this. There's no setup involved. And you'll also need like a piece of paper or somebody's phone or something to write with that you'll need to write a prediction on. That's the only other thing that you're gonna need. But other than that, you're ready to go. So you have a deck of cards, and you have the spectator shuffle the deck as much as they like. What you're gonna do is spread the cards face up on the table so that everyone can see the shuffled order of the cards. And what you're secretly going to be doing is you are secretly going to be noting what the 4th card from the bottom is. In this case, the 4th card from the bottom is the Ace of Diamonds, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. This card will be your prediction. No matter what this card is, this will be the card that you write on your piece of paper or the spectator's phone or whatever you're gonna use to write your prediction on. So you square up the cards, or you can tell them to square up the cards, and then you write your prediction, Ace of Diamonds. So now what you're gonna do is you're going to explain to the spectator that you're going to deal through the cards one at a time, just like this. And you're just gonna deal through the first 10 cards or so. You don't have to go too far. And then you tell them that they can stop whenever they like. This next part is very important because it serves 2 purposes. The first purpose is that it will actually prevent the spectator from messing up the trick, because you're gonna tell them that you don't want them to wait until the very end of the deck. Obviously, you might know what the bottom card is, and that's just not gonna be an exciting trick. And the second reason you're doing this is because it actually is part of the method. You're gonna be telling the spectator this. Don't wait until the very end of the deck, because I don't want you to think I remember what the bottom cards are. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna spread to the end of the deck and you're gonna eyeball the bottom 4 cards. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna catch a break on those bottom 4 cards. And you can do this in a multitude of ways, but probably in a real life setting, I would square up the deck and then immediately do a half pass, which is basically you're going to flip over the bottom 4 cards of the deck under the cover of squaring up the cards, just like this. As long as you're talking to the spectator and they're not really paying attention to the deck, this will just look like a very natural action. What it does is it secretly flips over the bottom 4 cards of the deck. So now that ace of diamonds is facing up on the bottom of the deck. And then you also, just to be consistent, you tell the spectator, and don't stop me at like the first or second card, because obviously I know what those cards are as well. This is just an example, of course. Now we'll start the real thing. You're gonna pick up the cards on the table, and you can either put them back on the top. I like to put them in the middle just so that it looks a little bit more random and more fair. And just remember, try not to flash those face-up cards on the bottom. But now the trick really begins, and the spectator genuinely has a free choice to stop at any card that they wish. And there's a very important thing coming up here that I will mention. When the spectator does say stop, you're gonna tell them, do you wanna stop right here? Are you sure? And you're gonna point to this face down card that you have not flipped over yet, because I've seen people where they just don't point and they just say, do you wanna stop right here? And people think that you wanna stop at the queen of spades, and they'll say, yeah, I like the queen. But no, because you're actually trying to have them stop at this face down card. You don't want them to like want to stop at this face up card, because you can't have that. You need them to stop at the face down card. So make sure to point at the face down card and say, are you sure? Do you want to stop here, or do you want to go one more? If they want one more, it's completely up to them. They can go 2 more, 3 more, it doesn't matter. But as long as you keep in mind that this is the card that we're stopping at. So, okay, let's say they stop at this card, and you're not going to take it and put it down, because obviously this is not going to be the card in the end reveal. Now what you're going to do is some misdirection. You're going to ask the spectator to flip over the prediction that you've written, and you can point to the prediction with your finger, as well as flip over your wrist to point. That's just a very natural thing to say. The prediction I've written, can you go ahead and flip it over for me, or open it? But you're going to just use this natural action to point with your wrist at the prediction. And as you do that, you're just going to simply set the deck on the table. And what you've just done is you've flipped over the entire deck. So now the entire deck is actually facing the opposite direction, but because of that face down card on top, now that card is going to be your prediction. So all you have to do is just be very careful. You're just going to take that card once the prediction is opened and they've read it. You say, okay, ace of diamonds, and look, you stopped at this card right over here. Now look, if you had went 1 more or 2 more, it would have been these 2 cards. And I like to do the next 2. It shows that they could have stopped further if they wanted to, and it proves that this is a normal face down deck of cards. But just only do those 2 and then just kind of leave them messily like this because it looks nice. And then you say, but no, you stopped exactly at this card, and that card matches my prediction perfectly. And it really is just a genuinely impossible trick. And if you want to, what you could do is you could have the spectator flip over the card themselves, and as they flip over the card, they will freak out and react. And what you can secretly do is just sort of spread the top 3, and you can either half pass the entire bottom half of the deck, or you could just simply like flip over everything on top. Either way, they're going to be looking at this card. They're not going to be looking at you. So you could clean up that aspect of the trick. And now everything can be examinable. They can examine absolutely everything in the deck. And that is the entire trick. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think it's a super fun, super easy trick to perform. Yeah, it's a great beginner impromptu trick that anyone can do. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and see you guys next time. Bye.